The Hump Hotel. Here in the city of Kunming in southwestern China. Why would you give a hotel such a bizarre name? And no, they don't charge by the hour. Instead, it's a name given in honor
of one of the most dangerous flight routes ever flown. Exactly how dangerous we'll get to in a bit. It's crazy. But first, here's the story. In late 1941, the Allies were desperate to protect the Burma Road. After Japan's massive offensive against the coastal cities, rail infrastructure, and other targets in the Far East, the Burma Road was China's only artery connecting them to the free world. And keeping China in the game with her huge landscape and population was essential to the Allies' plan to eventually defeat the Japanese.
But in March 1942, British Burma and the Burma Road were lost. Supply lines were cut off. A new plan was needed. There was only one route to take: to fly supplies straight over the world's highest mountain range, the mighty Himalayas. They called this route the Hump.
Initially, supplies were really low, with pilots bringing only a few hundred tons of cargo a month. Eventually, flying C-46s, 54s, converted B-24 Liberators called C-87s, and even B-29s, Hump pilots were eventually able to ship, at its peak, over 70,000 tons in a single month over the Hump route. Besides munitions and other war supplies, the Hump flew some really quite curious cargo.
At one point, a full 10% of their load was dedicated to paper money, printed in the United States thanks to rampant inflation in China. In total, the Hump airlift delivered over 740,000 tons of material over the course of 42 months. But this came at great cost. It's claimed that every 340 tons delivered cost the life of one pilot.
Weather, altitude, visibility, and largely unmapped terrain made the route incredibly treacherous. Pilots navigated by dead reckoning, basically following a compass and a pocket watch. Worse, the planes could not climb high enough to clear the highest peaks and were forced to weave a perilous route through the mountains. Unthinkable levels of turbulence could flip a plane on its back, inverted, or force it to drop thousands of feet in just seconds.
Over just one 2-month period, 1 out of every 218 flights was lost. Since an official tour was 80 flights, that works out at a 1 in 3 chance as a pilot that you wouldn't get out alive. According to Chinese records, up to 700 planes and more than 1,500 pilots, both Chinese and American, were lost.
Planes are still being discovered on the remote mountains of the Hump route by adventurers to this day, with some 70% of the 700 lost planes still missing. We tend to think of flying aces and daring fighters in great battles, but let's remember too the heroes that risked and gave their lives for 42 perilous months to bring China the supplies that were so desperately needed in their fight against the Japanese.
Flying supplies might not be glamorous, but sometimes, as the Hump shows us, it can be incredibly brave.